Hey everyone, so we're gonna go ahead and review Warbreaker. I feel very inadequate to talk about this book because there's so many Sanderson people who've talked in more detail and in more eloquent words about this book. Basically, it's a new favorite. We're gonna start with spoiler free. If you have not read this book, you need to read it. It's one of Sanderson's earlier ones, and it is absolutely fantastic. Just for a little backstory, I hadn't read hardly any of Sanderson. I wasn't really interested. I was trying to finish Wheel of Time, and I saw this cover, this one right here, and it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous cover. And so I really wanted to read this book because it just has such a beautiful cover. And so that's kind of my story behind it. It's definitely my new favorite Sanderson other than the ones he did on Wheel of Time, but those weren't his ideas. Those were Jordan's, so I think this counts just as my favorite Sanderson. The pacing, the characters, the magic system, they're all masterfully done. And for this to be one of his earlier ones is just really cool. I mean, I was really surprised when I read Mistborn that there were parts that really bothered me, but this one really weren't hardly any. There's like only one thing that I would say is a negative, but it's a spoiler, and so I'm not going to really go into it. But there was only like one character I didn't connect too much with for some of the book, but by the end I did, and so it's not that big a deal. I would still count this as a 5-star book. I love that he puts little breadcrumbs throughout the entire thing of those twists, so when the twists happen, you're still surprised, but it feels believable. So that's a really amazing trait to have as an author. So that's why this is such an amazing book, and you should read it if you haven't already. So those are really all my non-spoiler thoughts. I can't really go into much more non-spoiler. So let's go ahead and put the spoiler banner up. Do not watch further if you haven't read this book. Spoiler warning, okay? So spoilers. I was so scared at the beginning of this book because the rapey vibes are strong, and I was terrified because that kind of thing triggers me really bad. But it's so crazy how that storyline turns into like the most beautiful like love story, like slowly building feelings between these two characters is like so amazing. And yeah, it's just amazing how you can go from like horrified to loving the two characters so much, Ciri and Suzabran. I just loved it so much. So that like was a huge plus. The one negative I kind of mentioned in the non-spoiler but didn't go into detail was that I didn't really like Vivenna hardly at all at the beginning. Like the first half, maybe a little bit more. I really didn't like her at all. So she bothered me. And so that kind of took me out of it a little bit. And kind of a unintentional byproduct of me not liking her was when she was like duped by the mercenaries. It was kind of satisfying because she was like all confident, and then she like got totally owned, and I was like, well, you kind of deserve that. And I don't think that's how I was supposed to feel, but that's definitely my like gut reaction, was like, yeah, that's kind of what you get, which is horrible of me, and I'm sorry. But by the end, she had grown so much, and her and Basher were really cute, and she actually helped some, which is really cool. And so by the end, I really liked her, which is awesome. I love the sisters switching kind of thing, where Ciri gets more control and Vivenna learns to let loose, which is like such a cool trope. I really like that switch. So yeah, Vivenna ended up great. I just really didn't like her snootiness at the beginning. And her monologues about how like judging is bad, and then she was judging everyone, and then she was like, oh, but why am I judging people? It's just like, oh my gosh, people, like, calm down. Stop stressing yourself. So yeah, anyway, that was a fun part of this book though. The Vasher was awesome. I love a lot of Brandon's books comes and starts with a huge action scene to really show off his writing chops and show off his magic systems that are so amazing. And this one's was really fun with Vasher. Just all of the books I've read, basically, I guess except for Tress. I can't remember the beginning of that book very well. Maybe it was. I can't remember that book. But all the other books I've read, like that beginning scene is just absolutely fantastic, of them just showing off what the magic system can do is so cool. So Vasher just won my heart at the beginning, and I think that's why the mercenaries' betrayal wasn't that surprising to me, because the mercenaries said that they were enemies with Vasher, and I loved Vasher so much by that point that it was like, so that means the mercenaries have to be evil. Like, there's no other option. Like, I knew in the back of my head the more logical explanation was like, it was like a misunderstanding or something, but I was like, no, that means that the mercenaries are evil. So I kind of did predict that one. I don't think I ever like said it out loud. It was just kind of like a gut feeling, so that it wasn't like that much of a surprise. When that betrayal happened, I was really scared. The one time I doubted myself was when Vasher captured Vivenna for the first time, because he acts really unhinged when that happens. So then I like kind of doubted myself, but then like very soon after the betrayal happens, and I was like, oh yeah, I was right. Okay. But the other like huge thing was like who done it, and that was a surprise for me. I thought that it was Blushweaver, and she was like involved, so I was semi-right, but I thought she was the big bad. I thought that she was like mad that she was just a god and not like she wanted to be even higher than that. Anyway, I really loved Lightson and his sarcastic humor. One of my favorite things ever was like his like big brother role with Siri and how they got along like right away. I loved that so much. Just they're both kind of sarcastic humors like meshed so well right at the beginning. So his sacrifice in the end just like really hit me. But I loved it. I loved the climax. The climax was a little intense, like, and it kind of was long. It was like intense for slightly too long, if that makes sense, but still amazing and awesome. I really loved this book so much, and it's really showing me what Brandon can do. And yes, I have read Way of Kings, and I did love Way of Kings, but I think I love this more. And I'm starting Words of Radiance, and we'll see how I feel about that, and see if this gets dethroned right away. But right now it is my favorite Sanderson of his works that are actually his. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below what you think of Warbreaker. I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you disagree with me on Vivenna, it would be really interesting to know if that's like a hot take, not liking her, or if everyone doesn't like her. So yeah, I would love to hear what you thought down below. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.